Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me in Solomon's Temple. My name is Solomon Izangi Shams, and it's so good to be with you at this time of the day. Sorry for coming in a bit late. I've been trying to connect with my guest in Nigeria, and I've managed to do that. The network is not so good, but he is here, and we're going to be talking to him right away. He is called Godwill Paul Agomoh. If you've been following the stories of TB Joshua, he was the first deputy disciple. He was a confidant. There are certain places and things that he did with TB Joshua that only him had access to it. He was one of the first, if not the first, to come out and expose some of these things that TB Joshua has done. But then he has gone on to create a life in ministry for himself. He's written a couple of books, which I'm going to introduce you to today. The books are on Amazon. Great books, not just about TB Joshua, but just about the Christian life generally. So please help me welcome my guest, Godwill Paul. Good to have you here, Paul Agomoh.
Yeah, I can hear you. Good evening, Solomon. How are you doing?
Thank you so much. Good. Thank you so much. The last time I interviewed you was about 12, 13 years ago.
That's right.
And that was when we had a very great interview, which I was running a magazine then for the magazine, and some of the things that you said was shocking to me about TB Joshua at that point, because I wasn't convinced that he was a false prophet. But then talking to you and interviewing you and getting those things in there, it was something that really blew my mind. And today, a lot of people are testifying that indeed what you said was the truth. But tell me a little bit about, people would be trying to say, who are you anyway? How much do you know of TB Joshua or the Synagogue Church of All Nations? Tell me about a little bit about your journey there, how you came to TB Joshua, and how you became a deputy prophet there.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Solomon. I am so grateful. I remember 12 years ago, it was really serious. When I gave you the interview that really exposed so many things. Lots of people need to be open. Lots of people, tons of people are coming out to, testify to the truth. Yeah, I'm Godwill Agomoh Paul, formerly Prophet Agomoh Paul of the Synagogue Church of All Nations. I happen to be the first anointed prophet in that ministry, or whatever it is. But God really, saw me through it. And today, I thank God. It wasn't easy. It was a terrible journey. It was a terrible journey. I spent more than a decade there.
More than 10 years, yeah. So you were there before people like what's the name of the guy from Cameroon, John Chi, and all the other prophets.
Yeah. When I was there, John Chi was just a laborer, a worker in the maintenance department. He was working at the maintenance department. Nobody knew them. Life. That's how life is. Life changes. I didn't know. He was one of those working in maintenance. So it was after I left that I learned he was a prophet. John Chi was one of the maintenance people. There's a department we call maintenance in the synagogue there. So he was working there. He was one of the boys there. It was after I left that I learned that, they were made prophets. Many of them were made and wise men and so-called, different kinds of names that the man has coined out there to mesmerize people.
Tell me about your role there while you were at the synagogue. What was your role there, and how much do you know TB Joshua? How intimate were you with him?
When I got to the synagogue church, actually, I thought I have gotten to the end of my salvation journey. I thought I've met, a great man of God, the type I was seeking for. I've been searching. I'm a man. I'm a truth finder. I want to find the truth. I keep searching. I don't relent. When I decide to do something, I do it to the end. I don't start what I can't finish. So I love God. I was looking for God. I was searching for where I can get the reality, the Bible being manifested physically. And somehow I got introduced to the synagogue church by my uncle and the wife. So when I got there, I met this man. I saw him. Wow. Everything I saw was wonderful. I said, yeah, this is exactly what I want. Beginning from the way he composed himself, his composition, looked very humble, very gentle, speaks very softly. Getting to his humanitarian aspect, the philanthropic job was so powerful. As early as that time, 1994.
94.
I felt, wow.
How long was that? So that was 1994.
94, yeah. So I say, wow, this is exactly the kind of minister I want. I think I've gotten to, to meet the person I want. So I initially I was just a member. Gradually I tried to present what one of my projects I write. So to see if we believe that when you bring these things to the church and the pastor pray on them, you got a breakthrough, and you can just
Right.
people you get a good platform for your books. So I showed him those things. I had a collection of poems, about 5,000 poems I've written, and so many things. So he collected it and kept somewhere and asked me to come again. He kept giving me appointment until finally one day one of the disciples came to tell me that I would better join the discipleship quarters if I want to actually prosper. Don't I want to be like, there are a lot of these people brainwashing, we have them. We have a lot of people around there to brainwash you. Once you are there, once your leg touches there are different levels of people. So to cut the story short, I got initiated into the disciples' quarters. I saw TB Joshua as, a God incarnate. I loved him so much. And then I thought he loved me too. I will do anything to make sure that I will obey him and do whatever he says. Everybody knows me there. I walk around the circle. I tried to impress him. I became one of the best reporters to him. Everything. And eventually, at the end, he rewarded me with making me the first prophet there.
So you are officially the first prophet.
Yes.
At the Synagogue Church of All Nations, the very first.
Yeah.
So all the other prophets and disciples we saw, you were the first. Why do you think he made you a prophet? So he must have known you very well, and you must have known him very well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I worked so hard. I was an ardent believer to his teachings. I defended his name anywhere. Look, if I'm crossing in the church, members hide because they don't know anything I will hear. Because once I hear it with my ears, it has gotten to TB Joshua. He so much trusted me.
You believed in him so much, so you were defending him.
I believed him so much, to the extent that sometimes when you want to address people in the church, you will tell them that if you place Agomoh and place his mother, that he will pick Agomoh and leave the mother. That he loves that. In fact, the love that existed between me and that man was so much. So when I became the first prophet, lots of things started happening, but then my eyes weren't opened. He is a very crafty man. He was. So lots of things that were going on there, while you're inside there, you will not know. You won't know. There's no way you can know. Where do I start? Is it from the miracles? Is it the prophecy? Is this the administration in the church? Is it the disciple quarters? Where do I start? There's so much. Please, Mr. Solomon, where do you want me to start? There's so much. My head is full. I don't even know where to start. I don't know where to start.
We're gonna have two-part interviews. So we're gonna have this interview, and then we're gonna have a continuation of this interview next week.
Okay.
So today I want us to just talk about the sources of his powers, and then talk about the prophecy. Next week we're going to talk about healing, on some of the
Okay.
sexual allegations. But before then,
Okay.
I want you guys that are watching to know that Paul has written, you know, a couple of books. Discipleship Order of TB Joshua. You can go to Amazon.com right now. It's on Kindle. You can access some of the books. He has written quite a couple of books. This is one of them. And this is another one. Dangers of Genetic Sexual Attraction, GSA. And here is another one, Witchcraft in the Church. I encourage each and every one of you to get copies of this book. Please go to Amazon.com. A lot of his experiences is shared there. And just to let you know, this man has nothing against TB Joshua as a human being. He was the first to come out and talk about TB Joshua fearlessly. He was the very first disciple at the Synagogue Church of All Nations. Now tell me, Paul, being the first deputy prophet rather, you must have had access to certain source of his powers. Things that you didn't know, now you saw or you knew. What at the end of the day, based on your conclusion today, what were the sources? What were you exposed to? I mean, remember when I interviewed you about 12 years ago, you told me you know, he used to go to this mountain and then you follow him and some of this stuff. Tell me about some of the sources of his power. Some people are still don't believe it.
Okay. There's something about that man. TB Joshua was an evil genius. There are this man is very crafty and technical. He can't, let me start from his approach to spiritual issues.
Yes.
There's a place he has we call the mountain. That's in Agudegbe. That's just about 2-3 kilometers from the new church now. That was where the church was before. That place is on top of a swamp. TB Joshua cannot spend 1 hour in the main site without going to the old site. Every moment he'll go to the old site. Every moment he's at the old site. So he goes there, it's after a while that I realized that there are some things he goes there to conjure. I never knew initially. If you go there, you will see there are places he dig grounds where they bury prayer requests of people, where they bury pictures of people, where after burying, they will use big stone to put on top of it. So I wouldn't know. So that time, there was a time like when after being a prophet, he took me down to the mountain there. He put me into one of the huts there because there are so many huts inside. That place is on top of water. It's on top of a canal. He put me inside that hut. He asked me to be praying that he's coming. I was there. I now went up. I moved forward. I tried to remove one small pot that was there, like a fancy, like one of these flower pots. I saw where he heaped people's names, and so many things. So he moves in. He doesn't allow anybody to know what he does inside. If you are going with him, he will leave you in one of the huts. Before the next few minutes, he's out. He's gone there. When he finishes what he's doing, once he comes back, you see him, he'll be, hey, let's go. And once he comes to the church, you see miracles start happening. Things will start happening. So me as a junior prophet, I didn't bother to look deep into what he used to do in that mountain. So what happens is that when he comes, he say, okay, Agomoh, go, let's go and pray. Stretch hand here, do this. I was just following instructions. And when I follow instructions, the manipulations and everything was just going on the same way. But there is something I would like you to know.
Yes.
There is so much mystery in that mountain. It will only take God to explain what that man has done in that mountain. There are monkeys in that mountain. I have gone with him on several occasions. Those monkeys will come very close to him. He will give me a gap and walk out. Those monkeys will come very close to him. He will hold them in their hands, speak to the monkeys, talk to them, and after talking to them, he will release them. Sometimes there was a day he was coming, I pull out my shoe, I wanted to stone him. He almost slapped me. The monkey was coming as if he wanted to attack me. I pull out my shoe. He almost slapped me just at the beginning of the mountain, as if when we were about to enter inside. So his affinity with those animals, even if you go there are some snakes you will see there that you have never seen that kind of snake anywhere. I don't think, just like anaconda, very mighty things. And he warned you. I've seen that with him when we go there about 2-3 times. If you see, the snake will just I would say, see. He told me, he just tell me, Agomoh, mind your business, let's go. So I begin to wonder, what are all these things? What are all these things for? So at a time, there's one thing is that when you enter there, it will seem as if everything in you is washed off. You won't bother to think about anything again. You are just satisfied. You are happy that you are with him. You are working with him. You won't get worried at all. But these things keeps on bothering me. If you come into his house, his main house, his room where he stays, you will see different kinds of perfumes. There is no kind of perfume that's not there. There's no kind of candle that is not there. A big sword is there. We call that place his altar. So you find out that before he comes out, as he used to gather and set people around to come and collect perfume from him, collect oil from him, when he gets these things, he will bring this thing, he will spit. He will put his spit inside those things. When he put, he will cover. He will put, he will put our cover. He will put our cover. He will be spitting inside it after uttering, muttering some words before that is altar, which I don't hear. I never had it. He will start spitting into those bottles and be closing it and be closing it. That's the bottle of oil he used to give to people in the church. So all these things in his room, you see so many things that you begin to ask. There's a plate there that had different kinds of stone inside it, like a plate they used to put kola nut. You see different kinds of stones are inside that plate in that place called his altar. When he comes there, he will pick one of the stones, he will examine and drop it, pick another one and look and drop it, pick another one. He will he will push, he will keep it there and now walk out. I happen to, have the opportunity of seeing all these things because I was so close. He's a kind of man that he rules through divide and rule.
Okay.
What you know about him, the next person will not know. He has personal relationship with each and every one of his inner caucus and knows you won't know it. So it's a terrible and a complicated system. It's a terrible and complicated system. The church itself, when they are building new church, he took me around 2 a.m. We walked around the church. When he gets to a place, I don't know what he brings out. He had a bag. He carried it. He said, he said, I leave it. He'll bring that bag out. He'll keep that on the ground. He'll put his leg on it and put his leg a long time. He will live up again. We'll move to the other. He did that in round the big auditorium. So, at this point, I had my reservations, but I spent over 10 years there. There's a level you get to something, you don't even know where to go again. I've left my family. I've left my friends. I've lost contact. In fact, not just losing contact, I've denounced all of them. I denounced them. I told them, if you're not worshiping with me, if you don't share the same faith with me, I don't know you and I don't want to have anything with you. And that's how I cut off all of them for many years. So sometimes there's a level you get to there, you won't even know what to do again. Where will you start from? You will be seeing evil. You'll be seeing things that the Bible didn't approve. But what will you do? You don't even know where to start from. I think that's one of the techniques. That's why he treats you from your family. So the time you begin to see the reality, will be difficult. You won't know what to do. It's part of indoctrination strategy to move you out, so that you won't have where to fall back to if you decide to leave. And secondly,
because people, go ahead.
There is this thing. I kept wondering about it until I leave the synagogue. He will just tell me, Agomoh, when you reach there, anybody that is sick, sometimes put his hand on my back and say, look at them. So you see, this is pure hypnotism. Pure hypnotism. You find out that he will ask me, whatever you think in your heart will happen to that person. And I felt, it's a great way of displaying power. You understand? I became a kind of a center of attraction. It gave me joy, you know, come out and see people follow me, clap and different, and they shout. So, you know, I never bothered to look into the real thing behind the whole thing.
Yes, the source of that power.
You ask me, he will say, when you go there, look at them, whatever you have in your mind will begin to happen. So sometimes I'll become so excited, so that I'll begin to look at people, I'll begin to think they should turn upside down, and they will begin to turn upside down. Man.
You tell them to run, they will run.
Yeah, they will run. Sometimes I don't need to talk. You say, just think in your heart and it will happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just look, I will think in my heart, let them start eating sand, and you see human beings eating sand on the floor. So I felt, wow, this is great. And I really hypnotized him. I sincerely speaking, God is that was why I came out to speak the first time. I was really haunted. I was really troubled by the Spirit of God. Because I love God. I was searching for God before I got there. So immediately I left, that was why I had to come out to let the world know. Whatever you see me do there, something was wrong. It's not really me. There was forces behind it. So imagine where I would start. I'll be looking at people from gallery. I would think they will fall down. Sometimes when he's going out, if you want to leave the church, if he's not attending service, he will tell the ushers to be careful, to watch well, so that Agomoh will not fall people from the gallery to fall down. You know, because he knows that he has taught me to whatever I think will start happening to people.
Yes.
So this was the apex of the whole thing. I felt, wow, this is power. I've gotten this power. And really, if you meet me in action in the church, you will know this is extraordinary, because I try to experiment those things more than he even asked me to do them. So much. I'm just trying to let you know the angles that even then I was worried. It disturbed me, but you know, the applause, the crowd, the joy, you know, of being somebody like that in that place, in such a big place, being the assistant of TB Joshua, it was too much. I never, in fact, I didn't even bother to look back. I didn't even bother to look and think, what am I doing? I was just flowing. So there's so much, you know. Trying to define TB Joshua is complicated. It's a complicated system. You can't just define and say this is what he does. Apart from the spiritual things, the manipulative part of it is terrible. That is why nobody can come and say, this one said TB Joshua is like this. It has juju. Some people say it's a lie. How do you know? He say, he does wayo. He pay people to come and you say, because the system is so complicated, he will take one person through all these systems. So you cannot just define how he arrived at his solution through one system. It's a very complicated system. I find it difficult sometimes to explain to people. I try to be as sincere as I could. I try to be as open without trying to exaggerate anything. I'm not trying to. I'm not on a mission, or you know, to fight. No. That's not my mission. I'm just trying to let people know exactly what is haunting me, what I feel that it wasn't right then. So you know, it's difficult. That's why most people have not succeeded in nailing him very well, saying this is it, because it's a system. First of all, there's a spiritual aspect of it, where he will use his spiritual power to manipulate whoever it is. Even the president, if he wants to get any president, he will first of all take the name of the president to the mountain, plant it inside the soil, make some incantations, tell the prophets that to keep praying for the president. As they are praying, he will now come back and send physical people with gifts to the president. Mr. Solomon, it's a deep thing. The synagogue is a deep sea. It's a deep sea. It's a terrible place that I think God, it is only God that will bring that man to book and his work.
Very
so
quiet.
The whole thing.
Go ahead.
The whole thing is complicating. And, you know, people don't understand. Sometimes when he takes me to the mountain, he'll start to tell me some things. He'll tell me, Agomoh, you see, that nobody on earth will be able to put his or her legs in his shoes. That Jesus Christ reigned for 2,000 years, and that God brings in saviors into the world every 2,000 years. That Christ's tenure is gone, that it is his own turn now. If we can honor Christ, if we can worship Christ, whom we never saw, then what about him, whom we can see? He tried to justify his statement by letting us know, he will say, we should count the miracles that Christ did in the Bible. I have taken time to count all the miracles in the Bible. And I came back after about 3 days to tell him. He said, okay, can you count the miracles I've done? I said, no, I can't count them. He said, okay, in place of miracles, you can see I have a lot of miracles more than Christ. In place of the display of power, I have much power more than Christ. So
we're losing you there.
That the time of Christ, I can't believe it.
Okay, we can hear you now. Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, good. So he told me, after he told me, he said definitely that nobody will be able to put his legs in his shoes. That instead of him to let anybody do what he is doing, that he will prefer to impact the grace on the ground so that the ground will be healing people doing all the whole thing he's doing. I begin to wonder, what kind of talk is this? Then I had some questions in my mind, but you know, there you can't ask any question, you can't do anything. And you know, those days, even when I came out the first time to speak, I couldn't actually substantiate how those things will come to pass. But just as he died, I began to see so many things he told me manifest. So many things he told me are coming into play now. So I am shaking. I just pray that the Christianity, the Christians all over the world must bolt. Well, if they don't bolt up, if they don't pray hard, if they don't begin to talk to their members, if they don't begin to educate people about this man, what he came for, his mission is terrible. You will be shocked. When he was alive, he told me that we have only two things there in the church there, that we have TB Joshua and we have the synagogue church, and that one must give way for each other. These are things we discuss when we go to the mountain. I said, sir, what do you mean? He said, it is either he will reign and the synagogue church will die, or the synagogue church will die, or he will die and the synagogue church will reign. These days, I never understood what he was saying. I didn't know what he was saying. I never understood him. I was just, what is the meaning of this? He said, Agomoh, don't worry. You will understand. He told me, why? He asked me one day, said, you know why I'm telling you this? I said, no. He said, because he knows that most of these things he's teaching now, it's not the teaching he will teach in the church. That this is not the teaching he will take to the church. That people will say he's blaspheming. But that he believes that somebody like me will bring the reality about his mission out to the world. And what's the mission? He has come as a Messiah to replace Christ. That Christ's tenure is over 2,000 years ago. So his purpose is not lots of people begin to wonder. They thought because of he wants to gather money or he wants to make name. No, it's not gathering money. It's not the issue of, it's not even the philanthropic job. It's not the miracles. There's a main purpose. The main purpose is to perpetrate his reign, just like Christ did. That's why he said, you know, he wasn't much. So he wasn't actually much interested in, you know, making money, acquiring properties. No, rather he invested that money in winning people's heart. He was after winning people's heart. He was after planting himself in the heart of people, so that by the time his prophecy will begin to fulfill, he will have a lot of people who will believe him. Now, most of what I'm saying now is mysteries. Most people will not understand it, but it is coming to stay. Look at it. When he died, before he died, he didn't die accidentally. Joshua's death wasn't an accident. He has been sick over a long time. In fact, I know he knew that his time has come. But can't we ask ourselves a question? Why didn't he leave a succession plan? Why didn't he leave a succession plan? In many churches, before the founder, when you see maybe he's sick or he's getting old, he begins to lay down foundations. But instead of having a foundation plan for himself, having a succession plan for the church, he waited. When he knew the time has come, he created complications that will bring the church down. Definitely, it's not what churches die. It's going down. It's going at a point to come. You will not hear about the church again. All you will be hearing is the name TB Joshua everywhere.
Yes.
People will not be going to the church that they are going to worship God again. They'll be going there to go to his grave for a pilgrimage. It is a blueprint. It's planned. It is what he has planned. Before he died, he created the confusion. He gave the wife a will to take over, and also gave the disciple, some of the prophets, the will to take over. So when he died, this brought a big problem. These people brought the will. These people brought the two sides brought their will, and there was problem. The wife, the wife being a wife knows what to do. She has more legs in the government. She contacted people. They immediately, because right from the beginning, he disenfranchised the wife from getting involved in anything about the church. The wife wasn't a member of the trustee. The wife wasn't among the.
You know the wife personally yourself, right?
You mean?
You know the wife yourself.
Oh my God. For how many years? For so many years. We are together. We are together with the kids, with everybody. I know they know me too. For so many, we are like family there. We were like family then. So he never at any point brought the wife into the picture. The wife was outside, and this was to perpetrate. This was to make sure that his plan will work. Wow. Because if the wife had known exactly, everything about the church, it would be easy for her to take over. But now she doesn't know anything. But she maneuvered, and there's no way she can rule over the disciples who know everything about the church. So she have to sack everybody, put some in cell, deported some, scatter everywhere, and take over. And taking over what you don't know, she cannot handle it. Definitely, that will bring the end to the church. Joshua knew that if the disciples if disciples take over the church, they will perpetrate his work. The church will grow. But with the wife, the church will die. And when the church die, people will now begin to concentrate on worshiping at his grave and begin to chant his name. It's even happening now. If you go to Europe, many of the prophets, many of his wise men that went there, they can preach a whole 1-hour message without mentioning Jesus Christ. My father in the Lord, TB Joshua. My father in the Lord, TB Joshua. My daddy, TB Joshua. So this is just the beginning. It's the beginning. We are yet to see more in depth of what he has planted. So right now, you see the church is moving gradually now. If you listen now, they are talking about museum, turning the place to museum, turning his tomb to museum, where people will be coming. That's just the blueprint. Even the wife there doesn't know. The wife doesn't know exactly what the blueprint. She doesn't know she doesn't know what's happening. She doesn't know everything. She's just doesn't know anything there. So that is the purpose. Right now, the museum is going on. Everything is going on. The whole world will be coming there. That place will turn to a pig, and gradually, before you know, people will begin to think that he's truly the Christ, because all these wise men, that's what they're perpetrating, and that's what they're teaching in different of their churches now. It's really
a lot.
I get more interested in talking about this, because this is what is going to destroy Christianity. It's so much. If you notice, before TB Joshua came on board, the church still had some sanity in some practices. There was sanity in African church. There were level of manipulations people cannot perform outside. It was after TB Joshua came that people like Bushiri, people like Laku, people like Jeremiah, people different, they started coming and they all see him as their grandfather. He planted error in Christianity, in African Christianity. He planted witchcraft in African Christianity. He planted occultism in African Christianity. And now all the whole of these men have grabbed it. These are the people who he's going to use to perpetrate. This is last blueprint. The blueprint is that he will be upheld as a Messiah. A pastor in Nigeria was made a public, whether they call him Iginla or who, he made a public statement in his crusade. Even it was published in the paper that the work that TB Joshua did, that nobody can outwork him for the next 200 years. Before you know it, they'll add 2,000 years. That's his target. So that the world will uphold him as a Messiah. That is his blueprint. That's where he's heading to. That is where he's heading to. And that is what is happening right now. Everybody thinks, oh, he's dead. He's dead. But they don't know he's working in line with the blueprint. He's not dead yet. It is synagogue church that is dead. The synagogue church is dead. But the main TB Joshua name is what is going to cause big havoc in Christianity. Because by the time you see people come up and tell you that Christ era is gone. It is TB Joshua now that is Christendom. Okay. Please, on the gen. So, you see, this is the issue. This is the problem. Mr. Solomon, sorry, I had to come outside because of the network.
No,
so
that's fine.
It's really
that's fine. We're not
bad, so I'm getting back this way. I'm trying to tell them to put some light.
Yeah, as long as we hear your voice.
As I was
saying, all the people joining us, let me just say, everyone joining us, I'm talking to Godwill Paul Agomoh. Paul Agomoh was the first deputy prophet, junior prophet at the Synagogue Church of All Nations in 1994. He became the closest to TB Joshua. And when he left, he had to go underground. For so many years, he had to be underground because he received a lot of threats, death threats, intimidation, and everything. So this is not the first time that he's speaking. I first interviewed him about 12 years ago. That was the first time we blew the lead on TB Joshua to a certain level outside of the shores of Nigeria. And it's good to speak to him again. So you were saying something, but before then, actually, I want to encourage you again. He's going to talk about this at the end of our interview. You can check out his books on Amazon.com. These are his books. He has written so many books, about 10 books or so. Discipleship Order of TB Joshua. This would expose you to all the discipleship order, the manipulation when it comes to the leadership of TB Joshua. There's also another one called Dangers of Genetic Sexual Attraction. So his books are not just about on TB Joshua. There's one called Witchcraft in the Church. This one I recommend that you get hold of it on Kindle and Amazon. And there's this one called The Blueprint, Demystifying TB Joshua. Paul, I cut you off. Please continue from where you stopped.
Okay. So as I was saying, it really bothers me. I'm so concerned about what is happening now. I'm so concerned about the end time, about his end time, his plan, the blueprint he had. I'm so concerned about it because it will take everybody by surprise. You will say, who is TB Joshua? What can he do? What can he do? But this man is going to take the world by shock. He's going to surprise everybody. I'm just telling you the gospel truth. He has laid the foundation. He has planned everything out. How I wish the foundation he laid was a Christian foundation, that people should believe in Christ, that people should worship Christ. There won't be any problem. But what he is putting down is to destroy the Christian foundation and establish his own. Let me tell you something. I don't know where that is now. There is a book he wrote. That book is very big. He wrote it in his handwriting. There's a writing he writes. It's not Arabic. It looks like Arabic, but it's not Arabic. So there's a book he wrote. So that book, he has been writing that book over the years, and that book is right there in the mountain. He titled that book God and Man. God and Man. That's the title of that book. So then you'll be surprised. God and man, he told me personally, not only me, not of. He told me personally that this book will be the third testament of the Bible. That the God and man will be the third testament of the Bible. That the book will be translated. That he will work with the greatest scholars in the world. Scholars from US, scholars from England, scholars from Mexico, scholars from every part of the world. He will gather them together and they will sit together and translate that his handwriting into what will become the third testament of the Bible.
God and
that
man.
Was yeah. These were his dreams. These were his plans. These were the blueprint he was working on. I don't know whether that book, whether he concluded translating it. I don't know whether he did it or not. I don't know the extent he went to that book. But I know that book was very big. He wrote so many things. That book, he documented all his miracles. He documented everything in the church. He documented some secret things he never let us know. So he said he would translate it with scholars from all over the world so that they would translate the book and it will become the third testament of the Bible. Can you hear this kind of blasphemy? Can you hear this kind of heresy? He wasn't looking, his ambition was too much. It wasn't just like any other man of God. He was planning, and he's still planning, and he's working on it now. He says so many things to support this. As I'm telling you now, I'm so much worried because his plans are all on the pipeline. They are working gradually. Everybody will be sleeping. Everybody will be relaxing. Every Christian will be thinking, oh, it's okay. TB Joshua is dead. He's dead with his manipulation. He's dead with all these things. TB Joshua is not dead. Listen to me. His purpose, his purpose is grooming gradually. His purpose is coming. It will take everybody by shock if Christians don't sit up.
So part of what you're sharing now is part of what you're sharing now in this your book called The Blueprint on Amazon.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Demystifying TB Joshua, the blueprint. Yeah.
Tell us more about this book.
It's in it. So you find out that this man, his plan, his purpose is greater than what we think. People thought he just came to perform, to manipulate miracles and do occultic power and go. No! If he had come for that, he would have acquired more wealth. He would have done so much things, but he never bothered. That was why if he makes 50 billion, he will use it to do philanthropy. Get into the heart of people so that people will believe him. If you don't believe him because of miracle, you believe him because of the money and the food he gives to you. So he wants to plant himself in the heart of people so that by the time his disciples, by the time his wise men, by the time his prophets will begin to perpetrate, will begin to announce him, will begin to preach him, those who have benefited from his either philanthropy or the manipulation. He told me that the whole world will be under his feet. That like someone like me, that I will be like the president of America. That even American president won't be able to come to see him. That it will get a level in this world that he will pick a piece of paper, he will just sign any amount and give you, go to anywhere in the world, they will catch it for you. He told me that there is, a lot of things. He said he has crossed the bridge. There's nothing anybody can do. He said he has crossed the bridge, that nobody can stop him. But I know God can stop him.
Yes.
He has not been stopped yet. People are misunderstanding. They don't understand this man. They don't understand the deep things. They don't understand where this man is going. They don't know where he's coming from. He's still doing it. He's going on. He's working towards it. He's not stopping. He has never stopped. People think he's dead. No, it is now that the real program, that his project, that his blueprint has started manifest. It is now what he lived for, what he worked for. It is now it's beginning to manifest. But we don't know. So it's my concern. It pains me. It's worry. I'm worried because I know where this is going to end. He has told me the story from beginning to the end. He has explained so much to me that the whole thing is beginning to make sense to me now. It's beginning to make sense to me. I'm beginning to understand every bit of what he used to tell me. This is a man who will be in the bathroom where he's bathing. He will send for me. I'll come. He'll give me a sponge. He said, you see, people think I'm not a human being. You can see I'm a human being. I'll wash him, I'll wash his back, I'll help him to wash his back, and he'll be telling me a lot of mysteries. So he told me how Jesus Christ handed over the big cross to him and told him that himself cannot handle the big cross, that where he stopped, that Joshua should start from there, that he will become the next Messiah. And after telling this, he will tell me, Agomoh, the crowd cannot handle this message. Keep it within you. A time will come. I have confidence in you that you will teach people the truth about me. Christianity is about to see Christianity, if care is not taken, if we don't stand strong, if you don't pray hard, if we don't begin to mentor and teach our people the right way, if we don't begin to tell people to stop running from one post to another, to stop running from one miracle joint to another place, eventually TB Joshua will actualize his blueprint. I am telling you this, sincerely speaking. So many people will be saying, now they were fighting me. You see, I've never spoken since 12 years.
Yes,
I spoke that to clear my conscience.
This is your very first interview in a long time. Yeah.
This is the very first time papers and other people stopped. When I stopped, I kept calm. But what has aroused what is disturbing me now, I've aroused my conscience again, is the blueprint with what is going to happen in the future. Everybody will be shocked. Go to the bank, go to the virtual banks. You will see here more than over 1 million documents of miracle have been lodged there with strict instruction not to let anybody get it. Some of them, we gave them years before they will be able to release it to people to see. He has tons and tons and tons and tons of documents he call miracles, documents he call prophecies. That is why he doesn't joke with recording. That's why he does anything. He will tell the cameraman, record it. If it is not good, we clean it off. If you're a cameraman and you don't record what he's doing, don't record that day. You will see. That's what we call adaba. You enter adaba that day. So, my brother, I am talking to you and I'm talking to the whole world. I want people to mark my words. I said this 12 years ago. I said what I saw there 12 years ago. Most people thought I was I was angry. It was campaign of calumny, trying and say, God, if what I've said is the truth, Father, bring everything to the open. God, if I have lied, let me bear the consequences. Pay me. But if what I've said is the truth, God, expose this. Father, expose this and set people free. And I know God will not allow him to prevail. Christianity should not, those who call themselves true Christians, those who are struggling in the Christendom, those who are thinking they are standing and praying now, they should pray hard. Don't think that, don't end it like TB Joshua is a demon. One demon there, he's gone. You begin to rejoice. TB Joshua is not gone yet. He's just starting now. What has gone is the synagogue church. The synagogue church is dead and dead forever. Nobody can pick it up again. The wife can't the wife cannot put her legs in TB Joshua's shoes. And no other person will be able to put their legs in TB Joshua's shoe. He didn't want that. He told me that instead of him to empower any human being to run after him, that he will empower the ground. And the ground will turn to a pilgrimage ground. And which is his grave. And gradually, this is coming up to now. Right now, they are fixing a date for, they are coming to open the museum for TB Joshua. People from the whole world will come. And what do you think they're coming to do? To come and worship. Before you know it, it will metamorphose from a mere museum to a worship shrine. Mark my words. Just mark my words. This is a clear revelation to the Christian world. I'm letting them pray that if this man, if his plans are real, if his plans are what God wants, let it continue to reign. But if not so, that God Almighty should dismantle this foundation. There's a foundation he has put on the ground. It's not that church. That church is rubbish now. He told me, he said, Agomoh, you see me, I'm the synagogue. The synagogue is me. If she knew, it is either I will die and the synagogue will continue, or the synagogue will die, I will continue. So he before he died, he carefully, technically killed the synagogue church. He set the wife and disciples at fight, and he knew the wife would win because he gave the wife he sent some supporters to the wife, some lawyers, some people who support the wife to win the disciples. He planned everything. He planned the disciples to tell them how to fight the wife, plan the wife, tell the wife how to fight the disciple, but he gave the wife more support so that she will win. And when she wins, that means the synagogue church will die. It's only the disciples, those who know him, those who know what he did, those who know how he planned it, those who know his manipulations.
Check your mic. Your mic is off. Your mic is off.
Hello?
Okay. It's fine now, yeah.
Am I on?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
The wife doesn't know anything. She doesn't know anything about the church. Spiritual things, administration, manipulations. She doesn't know. How is she going to run it? So he created that war so that, he made it that the wife will win. So when the wife wins, that will bring the end of the synagogue church. The wife won too. Got her name added to the trustees. Use police and use, Nigerian system. Use police and use all the forces because she's in the money. Use the whole thing, lock some up, jail some, beat some people, they torture some people, deported the whole whites, everybody, and now the thing is in her hand. You see, this was a technique. He knew that disciples can as well, his prophets and disciples would know how to manage the church for some time and to move. But this woman will not be able to do it. So he naturally killed the church. And the purpose is that so that all attention will move out from, there will be nobody like the man in the synagogue. There will be nobody like, this is the prophet that is taking over the synagogue church. That people will now say, we are going to synagogue to see Prophet John. We are going to see Prophet this one. No. So now, anybody coming to synagogue church is coming to meet the grave of TB Joshua. That will become the new center of attraction. And while this is happening, his wise men, his disciples, he's fighting, collecting things, collecting information, writing. And before you know it, and I know he must have handed that book, God and Man, to somebody. And they're working on it. There are lots of people working on the ground for him, my brother. I want us to know we should not lay down our arms. We should not just relax and say it's over. This is a time that Christianity needs to pray hard. This is a time they need to keep their members and begin to educate them well. This is a time they need to know that all that glitters are not gold. This is the time they begin to know that this thing, Christ has already said it. If somebody comes and say, "Lo, I'm Christ," know that he's a deceiver, he's a demon, he's an antichrist. This is what people should. They should keep educating their members. They should keep teaching their members right now. I just have to seize this opportunity. I know we have other interviews. I can talk about the miracles. I can talk about the prophecies. Yeah. I can talk about deliverances. I can talk about the life in disciple quarters. But I want to take this opportunity because nobody knows tomorrow. I don't know. Nobody knows tomorrow. There might not be opportunity for me to come again to speak this. I want to maybe to first of all lay much emphasis on the reality. What is going to change the narrative of Christianity if we don't take time? It's going to the Christian narrative if we don't take time. So right now, it's very important that we all Christians, overseers, pastors begin to educate their members, begin to let them know. He has his voice everywhere in Nigeria, in South Africa. Those who are perpetrating what he's doing, those who are going to make sure that they will spend billions upon billions because they have the money to make sure that they actualize that blueprint. You have some of them. When they talk about how their father TB Joshua, how mighty he is. They don't talk about Christ. You won't hear them talk about Christ. We have to take it. We have to really take it serious. This is a very serious issue. I decided to talk about this first before we can now talk about the past. The manipulations is mind-boggling. If I tell you people what happens in the miracles you see, if I give you the picture of behind the scene, how it is, the making of each of them, you'll be shocked. And if you have been in the synagogue for the first time and you have spent about some days there, or you go there a bit, by the time I'll start talking about those things, you will see something to relate with. You will see, you will relate. I mean, no matter how daft you think you are, no matter how no matter how you think you believe in him, die, nothing can change your mind. By the time I begin to tell you some of the things that happen there, you will see something and you will hear something that you can relate with.
Mm.
So please, this is very important to Christianity. We have to really guide our shield, guide our buckle now, and begin to pray. Pray. Because the man called TB Joshua has done his groundwork. His book, God and Man, is in the making somewhere. I know that one. He didn't die in accident. He didn't die. His death wasn't an accident. So he planned everything down. He must have handed the book over to some people. He's trusted people to work on it. There are a lot of plans on the ground that will go. That, in fact, it is now that the real TB Joshua will come. This now, if care is not taken, before the next 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, you will just hear, there will be you will hear kind of, it's like the whole thing will just turn. And you begin to hear TB Joshua is the Messiah. He's God. He's this. He's that. When you want to tell Jesus Christ has passed, yes, he was Son of God too. He did his own too, but this is Son of God. He had to come again. After you will begin to hear different heresies and teachings that you never expected that any Christian can say.
These are very strong.
We really need to tell you
these are very strong
things that happened in
warning,
the past.
and I'm glad that you took the time to, we took the time to look at that. I think let's do another interview next week, maybe 2 actually, that we can concentrate on the miracles. You can disclose that to us, because that is very important. And the prophecies also, we need for you to disclose that to us, and how that is going to affect the church, the Christian faith, and also people believe in him going forward. So you're going to give us an inside look about the prophecies and the miracles that people actually think and thought that this is really from God. But thank you so much. You've said a lot. I want people to take the time to really think about what you have said. Let's not add more to it. But our next interview, I'm gonna bring you in to look at the miracles and the manipulations and the healings and the prophecies. You're going to expatiate that and give us an insight into the manipulation and the deceit behind it, and take us into the future. How would that define TB Joshua? How would that define Christianity in Africa? Thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate it. These are his books. You can go and check it out on Amazon. His books are Discipleship Order of TB Joshua. Please go and check them on Kindle. This is The Blueprint, Demystifying TB Joshua. This is his latest book. He wrote this after TB Joshua died. Remember, Godwill Paul was his second in command. He knew him very well. He first met him and became part of the synagogue in 1994, way before anybody that you've seen. And when he left the Synagogue Church of All Nations, he had to go underground because his life was threatened. And also, Paul is going to tell us about the sexual side of TB Joshua. Because Paul, if I remember very well, even yourself, you were engaged to a lady from Ghana to get married to, and TB Joshua actually came in with his manipulation and somehow, defiled the lady, if I am correct, remembering the interview I did with you about 12 years ago. So thank you so much. What are your last words?
Yeah. Just like you said, by next interview, I'll let people know exactly why I left the synagogue church. I will talk also about the prophecies. It's mind-blowing. It's unbelievable. The so-called prophecies, they're unbelievable. Are you not surprised? Hey, they say, anyone you see, they say plane crashed in Syria. Tomorrow they bring out videos to show that he prophesied about it last 2 weeks. They say plane crashed in Jordan. They say this tomorrow they bring out videos. My God, what is it? You will hear the secret. And everything I'm going to tell you, I will tell you in the name of the Lord. I'll raise my hands up. I will not add and I will not remove. So however you take it, the judgment, God Almighty will be the judge. I won't remove, I won't add. I will put it exactly the way it is. The prophecies there's something that when you hear how these things are being done, you will begin to shake. You will begin to shake. I wrote a book I titled The Art and the Act of Prophecy. I learned a lot in the synagogue church. I don't know if my life would have been like this if I hadn't been there. I learned a lot of manipulations. Is it the healing? You will be shocked at what you will hear. And if you have been there, you have received healing there, you will relate with them. You will say, wow, is this how these things happen? You must, wow. There's no how you will not say, wow, is this how these things happen? Is it the deliverance? The so-called Mami Water, the so-called Obanje. If you hear, you will be shocked. Is it the healing of the cripples? The ones they call cripples, the blind? I will tell you what will shock you. And when I tell you, if you can get hold of any of those old videos, monitor what I tell you. If you don't see the fact, no, then you now know. You will see everything and point. I'll point to you. I will point to you areas and facts and the truth you will use to dictate whether. This is a true miracle or whether it's a fake one. There are a lot. There's a lot. I don't even know if just 2 interviews will be enough for me to talk. Mr. Solomon, I don't know what you're going to do about it.
Let's do 3 then. Let's do the 2.
I don't know what you're going to do about it.
Yes, let's do 3.
You see,
we're going on for an hour now.
When you ask me to say something, I was like confused. I didn't know where to start. Because my head, there's so much. I
want to give you the time.
There's so much.
Let's just do it. Next week we do 1. Let's maybe take the next 4 weeks. Every week I bring you in and then we look at a certain issue. We look at it. You've been quiet yourself for 11 years. Since the first time you exposed TB Joshua, you were quiet for 11 years. This is the time for you to speak, especially going into the future. The things that TB Joshua had done, some of his intention on how to defile the church and to destroy Christianity.
So thank you so much.
Yes.
I wish.
Are you there, Paul? Yeah, we're having that network issue, huh? Yeah, so we're gonna try to sort out the sound network next time and the network at a good time to be able to do that.
So thank you so much. And you will again. I think TB Joshua is dead. It is the physical body may be dead, the physical body may be dead, but his project is ongoing, quietly underground. By the time it will resurface, everyone will say, "Hey, God!" And you see us struggling. Christians, pastors begin to fight with their members because the members will come to challenge them. So these are things. This is why I so much take interest in putting this out. There is more work to be done in the Christendom. This is a force that has come to change the paradigm of Christianity in Africa. Before he came, Christianity still had some sanity in it. But today, so many things are happening. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Everybody's copying TB Joshua.
No, thank you so much, Paul. I really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much. And guys, please check out his books on Amazon.com. He has his books on Amazon.com. There are different titles. He has about 8 or 10 books there. These are some of his books: Discipleship Order of TB Joshua, The Blueprint, Demystifying TB Joshua. These are all his books. Please check it out. We're losing you, Paul. So your network is not so clear. Anyway, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time, and thank you everyone who is here and watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you guys. You know, sometimes we need to learn from what had happened for us to understand the spiritual environment, for us to have answers to questions that we had about this evil genius called Temitope Balogun Joshua, Abdul Fatai Temitope Balogun Joshua. He is an evil incarnate. He's not, you know, he came to, his intention was not to just get rich and famous. No. How do I destroy the Christian faith in Africa? And believe it or not, he has succeeded to a certain level, but there's a God. And he has left other small baby charlatans and baby TB Joshuas that are carrying their head up and down. But we will strangle every spiritual manipulation. But we need to do that with knowledge. Knowledge about how they operate. Knowledge about who TB Joshua is. Because that would really arm us and help us going forward. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you. Please make sure you subscribe, and I will see you again.